We're talking bulk slash. If you're just joining us, we've been slowly, actually pretty quickly, working on a fan localization of this game. It's an obscure but very good Saturn game that never left Japan. And it's probably my personal favorite. And, I'm quite into the Japanese Saturn library. It was one of my main pastimes when I lived in Japan, was collecting and discovering these many hidden gems, which at the time were a relatively affordable gaming option relative to contemporary games on the PS2 and 3. Now everything is shot up in price, including this game, which goes for around $150 if you look on eBay. I got my copy for like a third of that. I think it was about $50 with no manual. But anyway, it's I think it's one of the best examples of 3D looking good on the Saturn. And I just I always thought that it kind of represented that hidden gem factor that the Saturn has so many of. And so there was a poll that the guys on the Sega Saturn Shiro channel, they have a YouTube channel and a Shiro show that it's a live stream on YouTube that they run on Fridays. And they've sort of risen up as one of the more prominent, what do you call them? Like, I guess content creating channels in the Saturn scene, which is not a big scene. But they've done a good job of sort of boosting, I think, that community and centralizing them and giving them like a sense that there's still news happening in that Saturn scene. And they had run this poll on social media for just as a casual thing, I think, just for conversation, asking what games people would like to see localized on the Saturn. And Bulk Slash was at the top of the list, which was a surprise to me because it's always, I feel like I rarely hear about it, even in Saturn circles. So I casually chimed in, I'd help translate that if these fan translation hackers need a guy. And a few people from that community saw the tweet, immediately jumped on it and said, hey, check out our Discord, you'll find people there. And so I did, and then we just got to work. We assembled a small team that has worked very well. We're all over the globe at this point. But we've been at it for about 3.5 months now. We have 2 of the navigators completely implemented. And we have 2 additional navigators fully recorded and waiting to be implemented. We're getting there. And that leaves 3 navigators left to record. And 2 of those have been cast. So we're like, it's coming along. And also all of the in-game text has been translated. There was a bunch of like English words that were spelled wrong that we fixed. And we're intending to dub all the FMVs at the end, like, because there's character-specific endings, and they're all FMVs, and we're going to redub those, which will require re-recording music, but we had a volunteer sign up to do that. It's a guy in UK and his brother, who I think is in New Zealand, and they're very talented musicians. They have a lot of love for the Saturn as well. Fact, oh man, I wish I had his Twitch. You know what, I'm gonna look it up. Jiggle is our guy, Jiggle85. Let me look up his Twitch real quick so I can give him a shout out. Yeah, Jiggle85. If you like Saturn stuff, I think that's pretty much all he streams. At least that's all I've seen him stream. So give Jiggle a follow. He's been providing the music along with his brother. So what I'll be showing off today, if I can reach. That'll work. Yeah. So, we're in the process of moving, so everything is kind of in disarray. I've just left the Saturn hooked up. But anyway, what I'm showing today is the character we just saw in the artwork. That's Rupia Rude. And I'm gonna have Diana, who's a good friend of mine, who voiced Rupia Rude. We did a couple of, long gauntlet recording sessions, and she stuck it out and really brought depth to the character. It was just a great time. She's gonna join us probably in a few minutes, depending on how much luck she has with after work stuff and Discord stuff. But in the meantime, I thought I would show the sound test.
Let's get.
So
All right, let's
you can see that the voice test
got chills. Bingo.
reflects all the English. Now, I had a complete save file with every navigator unlocked, but my Saturn battery died, so I lost it.
More to the right.
So now I've just unlocked Rupia Rude.
That was a direct
But
hit.
what happens is, as you unlock the navigators by finding them in the stages and then beating the game with them, their voice samples will be added to this list, and they each have about 75.
You're going to blow, right? Let's get.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil it all. And then you also get these visual bonuses when you beat the game with each navigator, and depending on how well you do with them, you get different artwork. It gets slightly more or less suggestive, but never that suggestive. Okay. Yep. So I'm just gonna try and keep an eye on my phone and another eye on Discord to make sure I don't miss Diana. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and get into it. Let's see the game in action. So that's her, and the way it works, the game is all about replay value. So the idea is that you would you find each navigator in the wild, and then that doesn't unlock them. You don't unlock them until you clear the game with that navigator at your side, which means you can only earn one navigator per playthrough, which means you have to play through the game at least 7 times to unlock them all, and then you can level them each up. So the game is meant to be, like, if you want to completely level up all 7 navigators, you're talking about playing through the entire game at least, like, 14 times, but each playthrough is like an hour. So that's sort of the intended, like, loop. One playthrough is not a complete experience by a long shot. Alright, let's get into it.
I'll be good for you. Take a dang stage.
So these are the pre-mission briefings. These are all translated and have been implemented by my illustrious teammates. We've got a good team. We have so Dan Thrax, who may or may not pop in at some point, has been doing all the graphic editing, and I consider sort of the technical lead on this game. And then Momfus, who's in Germany and has been sort of the engineer. He helped figure out how to edit all the audio. He's been implementing all the edited graphics.
Fire blaster.
And then we've got Burnt Ends and Galleon, who have been helping with the translation editing, which is a big job. And then Burnt Ends has also been sort of serving as our community manager. He's the one who made our Discord server and hooked us up with a lot of these voice actors. So it's a good team. And then we've got Jiggle85, who I mentioned. I just want to show this. Interesting. There was a little audio bug there for the Japanese, but it doesn't matter because we're replacing it. You can see though that the text is already translated. We've actually already implemented Leone. This is Leone. Just as of like today. So she's coming soon. I'm gonna choose no because we're concerned with Rupia.
More to the left.
I'm gonna take my time because I don't want to fly through the game like I normally do without Diana getting here. Of course, you can always play through it again. Now, because I lost my save data, I can't switch nimbly between my level 1 save file, my level 3 save file to show all her. Because what happens is you level up your affinity with the co-pilot, and then their dialogue changes.
Target's close by. Keep going
So I'm going to have to do it the old-fashioned way and actually level her up over the course of the playthrough,
You got
which I
moves.
can do if I'm good.
Oh, wow.
Mm.
Bingo, you nailed it. That leaves 4 of them. Shield recovered. Keep going straight. Keep going straight. It's behind us.
You can see she's got the attitude, and
More to the right.
it's fun. Like as we gradually build up this localization, you know,
Target's close by.
and just seeing the characters come into the game one by one in English,
More to the right.
it's slowly highlighting how dynamic this roster of characters is. You know, like next to Leone especially, who's very by the book and sweet
Bingo, you
and
nailed it.
like,
That leaves
you know,
4.
sort of shy.
Shield recovered.
Having a character like this who like, because all of them have the same context for their lines, you know, like they all have a go forward, go back, go left, go right. They all announce what type of weapon hit you. And then like, okay, so like here's another
More
one.
to the right.
When you try and transform over a body of water,
Keep going
that wasn't it.
straight. Jeez.
she goes, geez. Medical, who we showed off last time, says, you nitwit. And so they all have like a different way of getting mad at you for doing a stupid thing. You'll notice that sometimes Rupia's lip flap does not sync up super well.
Oh, wow. You ain't messing around.
We tried our best, but it turns out that in some cases, that was the case in the Japanese. Like the lip flap didn't sync up that well,
More to the right.
and
Target's close by.
in some cases, like the G's, when she does the G's, she pops in and then ba 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 ba. Like there's about like 4 lip flaps.
Keep going straight.
The Japanese is
Bingo, you nailed
it's
it.
basically
That leaves
1 syllable.
Shield
uh,
recovered.
And the audio kicks in before the lip flap kicks in, just like here. Oops. And it's because they recycled animations, and the way that the audio syncs up, you don't have that much control over how, like, when the audio starts and stops. Sometimes you do. It depends how much space was allotted for that audio clip. So if it's a really tight space, you don't have room to insert a buffer before the audio starts.
Keep going
So the audio has to start
Target's close
at the
by.
like right away,
Straight.
which means it syncs up with her leaning forward rather than her lips moving. But that's actually how it works in the Japanese version. So there are some flaws, but we tried our best to make sure that there are as few new flaws as possible, and that any flaws you're seeing were there to begin with.
Keep going straight.
And we did, you know, when possible, we tried to make it even better. You know, like tighten up the lip flap.
More to the right.
I mean, we have no control over the animation or anything, but you know, just trying to design the lines to fit as well as possible. But there were a few that we just couldn't do much about. And then there's also the fact that we're relying entirely on,
Something's coming, and it ain't no small
you know,
fry.
this is all crowdsourced. This is all unfunded, just people being kind and showing up for fun. So, sure the audio is all hunky-dory. That seems good.
Keep going straight.
Alright, so we got a boss.
More to the left. More to the right. More to the right.
So, some people don't know this, but if you hit X, Y, or Z during a boss
More to
fight,
the
the
right.
camera will center on the boss. It's extremely useful. Kind of almost essential.
Keep going straight.
I feel like the bosses
Oh, wow.
really
More to the right.
showcase how impressive the 3D is in this game. I mean, not next to the PS1, but...
Take him out. More to the left.
Oh, hold up. I think Diana's trying to call in. Keep going straight. Oh, okay, here. Give me one sec, guys. Okay, check. Can you say something, Diana?
You're gonna ask me to talk?
I know, not your strong suit, but
No,
try
I'm
and force it.
terrible at voice things.
All
All
right.
right, twisting my arm, lack aware.
So I'm joined by Diana, and
Hey.
we just had a grand old time recording this. Just to give a little background, without getting too personal. I'll let you get as personal as you want. I'm always paranoid about like revealing details about
Oh,
people.
you know, it's I don't have too many secrets, but we could. I mean, whatever you want to share, I'm cool with.
All right. Well, I'll just say that we have been friends for like what I want to say like 11 years now.
11 years.
And I was the latecomer because I was in Japan.
I think
But
that's a fair excuse.
we've basically been present for most of the major events of each other's lives, along with Diana's hubby, who is also one of my bestest friends. You've heard his voice on this channel before.
Yeah. And my man,
Take a dang steady.
Lucky.
And yes, Mr. Lucky.
Yes.
And we so anyway, it was relatively easy to ask Diana because I knew that she had this this actor's bug lurking within.
Yes.
And
Lurking.
I just think of you as like a person with a very like versatile and powerful voice.
Ah,
So,
wow.
Like
Well,
you do
shucks, I don't even know what to say. That's
accents,
so
you do
nice.
languages. You've got that thing where like you pick up the like idiosyncrasies of how people talk right away.
Oh God, I gotta tell you, I love sound in all its forms, but especially the pretty ones. And I love language, and I love accents, and I love music. So I feel like it all fits that bill. That's kind of the umbrella it falls under.
Yeah, and so I mean I think that really served the process because we went in not even knowing what character you were gonna voice.
Oh yeah, no, it was a total like, all right, cool. Want to hang out and throw some, spitball some ideas and try reading some lines. I'm like, all right, I'm game.
Yeah, well, and it was very lucky to the project to have someone like that who you could spitball with and like just get on the mic and be like, can just try. Okay, we've got 3 characters that we need someone for. Can you just like try some voices? It's like Robin Williams.
Twin. Now
like-
make her a chef.
Yeah, and like so we had you try Lyra Hart, who's the navigator. Here, I'll show everyone Lyra Hart. She's the navigator from this stage, and she's a pop idol. And she's sort of ditzy. She's not actually a navigator by trade. She doesn't know what she's doing. So you gave her like sort of this ditzy like Long Island thing.
And I'm so excited to be here today.
Yeah.
You just don't understand. I just want a parfait. Yeah, we had fun. We had fun. We have a good time.
It's funny. Your reference point that you brought up was Molly from the Sailor Moon dub from the 90s. If anyone remembers that. But as soon as I showed it to the team, Danthrax goes, "Oh man, she did a Harley Quinn voice." I was like, "Oh yeah, that is what that is."
They're kind of the same.
Yeah.
Kind of the same. One's a little more sinister, but yeah. It's nuance. Again, this acting nuance, right?
Exactly. And then,
oh my God.
So then there was Leone, who's sort of the flagship navigator. She's the one we saw in stage 1. And I think for that you just did kind of a vanilla thing, because that's sort of Leone's
Yeah, I kind
flavor.
of I played her straight, but like, you know, eager.
And then, yeah, and then I was like, man, and like after the session, I was like, should we try something weird? Like, should we do like an Italian accent? Because I know you can do an Italian accent. And I was also like, you know, her name is Leone. I keep thinking of Teo Leone. But you had also, for Rupia, who we're using right now, you had tried out a southern accent. And right away, I just remember thinking, like, yeah, like, because I didn't really know what direction to go with Rupia, other than that she's, like, the crass one. Because in Japanese, you know, she just uses, like, the most gruff, like, syntax without using specifically vulgar words. You know, that, like, a lot of vulgarity in Japanese is just expressed through the absence of politeness.
What an interesting comment. Oh, wow.
Yeah. Well, because the formality is baked into the grammar in Japanese, so you can sort of they have different ways of like conveying the shorthand for like someone who's rude than we do.
Oh man, rude. I hear a last name.
Yeah, it's funny because so early on in the project, when I was still translating the text, I was trying to figure out what the deal was with how the characters were named. Hey, what's up, Danthrax? Danthrax is in the chat.
Hey.
Oh, maybe I should check Discord and see what. Did you want to hop in, or do you just want to be on text? I'm sorry, I'm looking in 5 directions at once, and Rupia only tells me 4. For now, anyway, until she levels up. But I was trying to figure out the naming convention for these navigators. I was like, what are these names? What the hell is medical? Turns out that
it was an odd choice.
The first names are all the names of world currencies. And the last names are pro wrestlers.
Oh my God.
So Rupia, Rude, I forget who Rude even is. I'm sure anyone in the chat can school me on that. A game sound can be turned up a pinch. Thank you, Dan. Let me do that. Whoop. Up a pinch. It was blasting myself in some other game a while back, so I had turned it down. Rick Rude, who I'd never heard of before. But I was like, you know, there was Rupia Rude, and there was Naira Savage, and there was Lyra Hart, and I was like, oh, so maybe it's like supposed to indicate something about like their character, like, oh, she's the tough one, she's the rude one, she's the sweetie pie, you know. But it was actually much simpler than that. I mean, maybe that's what the wrestlers were trying to do to begin with. But yeah, it's just currency plus wrestler. So,
awesome.
So anyway, you whipped out this southern accent, and I just thought it immediately brought the character to life in English in a way that I wasn't sure how to do.
It was, oh man. Okay, so I got to talk about that a little bit. It was so much fun. I don't even, God, I feel like, did you say, hey, try it southern? Like what? I don't even remember how we landed there, but when we landed there, you're like, don't move. Do that one. And it just felt very natural, and it felt very comfortable, and it felt, I don't know, again, I spent a few years, you know, growing up as a military kid living in Georgia, and so it's not completely foreign to me. I lived in Georgia, Alabama, Virginia. I mean, I had a little bit of a hint of the fun you could have with, or you know, rather the attitude you convey with that accent, and I loved that, and it was a lot of fun to kind of throw those lines, Greg, that I think you know, so beautifully and ably translated into colloquialisms, you know, while maintaining the integrity of, I think, what the original creators were doing with their dialogue. It was so much fun. It was so much fun.
Yeah, and I think, you know, this is also the perfect project for something like that, because you basically just have a bunch of like a motley crew of voices, you know, like the whole point is to like find a dynamic cast of voices, so it's fun to just like play around with that kind of stuff and really find ways to make it feel like each navigator forms this sort of like contoured selection of options, you know. Yeah, and it's just fun how it sort of came together through the conversation. Like, we went in not really knowing anything, and we came out with what I feel like is a very satisfying, you know, English dub of this character. It's
yeah, for sure. I mean, I think that yeah, again, you know my background. I've not been anything like a very niche Saturn avid gamer, but gosh, just kind of hearing the history was, I mean, it's just really cool. And you know, tuning into, is it forgive me, the Shiro show?
Yeah.
Fantastic to watch and really kind of interesting to kind of dig in and learn. So yeah, really enjoying it.
Yeah, well, and I think most of the actors we've worked with are not particularly like Saturn people. Some of them are, which is exciting. Like, we've gotten some people that actually know this game specifically, which isn't a sure thing even when you're talking to people that like the Saturn. But I do think that, like, I hope that stuff like this and the Shiro guys especially, I think that they're gonna sort of you know, breathe some new life into this very old machine. You know, this game alone, which was semi late in the Saturn's life, is 24 years old as of 2 weeks from now.
I'm pausing it. It's way past its drinking birthday. I don't know if I could deal with that.
All right, real quick, I want to hear this, because this is the other English.
How do you do? I am Metical Flare. Might I trouble you to tag along?
So that's Metical Flare. She's voiced by Dark Misty. We showed her off last time, but I think it's just cool to, like, that now you can stop by and say hi and then be like, nah, it's fine.
You're like, oh, hey, thanks. Yeah, no, I think we're good. I think we're good. I'm gonna go with the one that calls me names and is a jerk.
Yeah.
Or rather, the one that'll probably teach me how to rob someone blind and beat all these robots. And yeah, no, I feel like, I don't know. If I were going on an adventure, I don't think I'd want vanilla. So I was super excited that that I was chosen to play Rupia. So again, super appreciate the opportunity just to kind of like get back into it and you know, flex those muscles, have some fun. Really, is the bottom line. It was just great.
Yeah, and we, you know, that's ultimately the goal of all this, is fun. You know, I think that, like, I've always felt bad about asking for free work. You know, especially as a freelancer who has, like, I've had to learn the hard way that you have to, like, really protect yourself and, like, your time, or people will take advantage. So, like, asking people, like, hey, would you like to spend 4 hours recording lines for this game that has no particular, like, benefit attached to it?
You know, yeah, I'm sure it was kind of like a hard, like, oh man, this might be a hard ask. But I also feel like, I mean, I don't know. You have to understand, people reserve the right to say no, just like you reserve the right to say, hey, I'm not going to do unpaid work. We reserve the right to say, hey, no, it's not really my bag, no thanks. But I mean, again, I think your project has brought together a number of people who do it for the sake of how much they love it, who do it for the sake of bringing it to other people, and that in its own way, it's it's not a currency payment, is it? It's a payment in droves though of satisfaction and something that you can put your name to and say, look what I did. You know, look how I got a chance to share this thing that I really enjoyed with folks who might otherwise, you know, overlook it because they don't have a handle on Japanese language. And I'm one of those people. I just, you know, I love I love hearing Japanese language. I started, as you know, started trying to pick it up and study it, and then, you know, had 2 kids and life got busy and haven't picked it up again. But I mean, you know, for people who, I don't know, who want to hear it in their own language and make it kind of easier to jump into, who knows? I mean, I got to tell you, I'd love to play through it, you know, after getting into it, understanding kind of what's going on in the story, maybe play through it in Japanese and just listen to it and get into it. It could be an entry point, you know, for folks who otherwise might not want to get into it just because they don't have that knowledge.
Yeah, I do think sort of a side effect, because of the way this game is laid out, where it's very simple sound bites that you hear over and over. I think it could be a good way to study a little Japanese, just like an interesting supplement where like you're basically learning rudimentary directions and then a few other things, like we crashed into them. And, can we get this done today?
Rudimentary directions. I'm sorry, I can't leave that part of myself behind.
Something that's been cool for me to see is the people that knew the game, because so like I was slightly self-conscious about the fact that this game is not unplayable at all without knowing Japanese. You can play all the way through it, and that's something that's kind of cool about the game. But what's been cool from this project is seeing people that knew the game that are now seeing it in English and realizing that the game has come alive on like a whole different level. You know, they're getting a whole different layer that immerses them in the experience better, and it's enriching the experience of. I just didn't want to drown out the pick a dang stage. It's
it's all right. You want to reprise pick a dang stage. Yeah, we had fun. We had fun with that.
Yeah. I mean, it was also like it was a marathon. We did so many takes, and we had to come back for a second session. I don't even remember why, but I think there were just some lines.
There were 3 lines, Greg. There were 3 lines, and it turned into 2 hours.
Yeah, that's right.
But that's all right. I mean, I can't claim all of that was work either, because if I'm honest, I mean, it was hangout time too.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Let's raise hail.
Which is another nice benefit of working with friends.
Awesome.
But it was, yeah, I mean, it was still, I mean, I came away excited and really happy with the experience, but also pretty exhausted. You know, I can only imagine how it felt to be voicing those lines.
No, you know what? I just, I think, no joke, that first recording session we had was about 4.5 hours. I think.
Yep.
Holy moly! And I think you were up until 3 in the morning.
Something like that, yeah.
It was something ungodly. It was not nice, and I felt really bad. And I was just like, "Well, should we stop? Should we stop?" You're like, "Oh, we're almost there." I'm like, "Okay, we can keep going." And it was just, I was pounding water like a boss. It was ridiculous. I feel like I must have gone through. Oh my lord. Yeah, I don't even know. All I can tell you is tea and water and tea and water and tea and water. That was how I got through that session, and then the entire next day I was drinking water like a beast, because honestly, it's been a minute since I did
4 hours of voice work.
It was that's the thing. And as you know, I like to pretend to be a vocalist. I sang for a while, right? But I have not done a show longer than 2 hours in a long time. So I mean, doing this constantly for 4 hours, constant talking, as much experience as I have talking, and Lord knows I don't shut up. It was a bit of an ask, and so. It was a good way to refocus though, because I'm just like, if you're doing this, you gotta take care of the instrument, and it's like, oh man,
protect the pipes.
Right? The pipes, drink more water. Yeah, you gotta make sure the machine has oil, right? So, No, but it was fun. And then we had the 2.5 hours after that. So it was a total of, I mean, I don't know, maybe 7-ish hours, not counting the kind of planning and the talking about things and the initial meetings and the spitballing.
Yeah.
But
Which is non-trivial as well.
There
There was a lot of that as well.
At least
There was.
one of them.
But it was all worth it, and it's like I think it's sort of like a peril in a way of like passion projects that you get so absorbed in the work because it's so rewarding, it's so gratifying
important to you, yeah.
that you can forget to like take care of yourself. Like the fact, like I was up till like 3 a.m. Probably not standing up enough. And like what takes even longer is the editing, or at least it used to take a lot longer, like editing the sound afterward. And I would just get so like into a flow that I don't want to stop. I want to walk away from this session with a fully mastered set of audio so that tomorrow I can implement it and play it. You want to see it reflected in the game as soon as possible. It's like, man, like then I would wake up the next day and be like, why do I feel like I'm hungover?
Yeah, it's like, why did I get run over by the truck?
Yeah. It's like, oh, right.
I feel like hot garbage, and I'm never doing that again. And then the same thing happens the next night. No, 100%. I feel like, God, is that what college was? I feel like I'm remembering that that's what college was. Jeez. Yeah, no, I mean, if you believe in a project and if you believe in what you're doing, there's no better incentive than that. And I don't care if you're talking money or whatever. Yeah, money's an incentive, but if you believe in what you're doing, you're going to work like a dog for it, 100%. And, again, I have to say it's really inspiring to see the amount of work that you've put into it. The other guys who've collaborated with you on, I mean, holy moly, you all are a hell of a team, and you're really putting together something cool.
I think we've all felt this sort of magic, and I don't know, I just feel like the team has been so functional. I think that we cover each other really well.
Isn't that nice? Complimentary people.
Yeah, and like being able to operate. I guess we're mostly in just 2 time zones, but they're it's East Coast and then Germany. So like you get a lot of the 24-hour day covered between the two, especially because I like have kind of a weird sleep schedule. Like I live more like I'm in Pacific time still.
Well, yeah, dude, I was gonna say, and I'm coming at you from San Francisco, so you're still coming even a little bit more. I saw Dan Thraxter in the chat here before starting the localization project. Started learning some started learning Japanese words for left and right. Yeah, see, and that's the thing is I'm ashamed to say I don't even remember those. I gotta get back into it. I love it. Oh my God. See, video games is a portal to learning language and closing barriers. Fantastic.
I mean, the other cool thing, as far as trying to learn some Japanese from this game, is that you've got 7 iterations of the same basic line. So you're learning 7 slightly different ways to say a thing, which is useful too, just because you're getting a taste of like the breadth of the language. It's not just there's not usually just one way to say a thing, just like in any language.
Keep going straight.
What'd you say there, Greg? Sorry, I lost you.
Oh no. I was just talking about how much did you miss? I guess you wouldn't know because you missed it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, ooh, that's a hard thing to tell you. It sounds like you're hearing a number of different iterations of the same set of lines, and so it's like, just like any other language, you can hear things like, okay, hurry up, what are you waiting for, pick a dang stage, whatever have you, and then kind of take what you will. It's harder to learn vocabulary, but you learn kind of the flow and maybe the colloquialisms.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're picking up more than just like one way to say go left, right, or it's to the left. You'll come away with 7 slightly different ways to say it, which can be that's another important aspect of learning a language. Obviously you're not going to learn fluent Japanese from playing Bulk Slash, but you might have an epiphany or two.
I don't know, maybe I might I might learn enough.
I can say facility, I can say fuel tanks. I can say guard duel, which is the name of the mech.
Bezier blaster.
Bezier blaster.
All right, let's raise hell.
Bezier.
More to the left.
But not Bezier curve. I never learned curve. So yeah, that's one of those little touches. I brought this up on the Shiro show as well, but so you've got this weapon called the Bezier blaster here.
Bezier blaster.
It's Bezier, but I thought it was important that Rupia be unfancy about it.
She is
so she
the
said
least
Bezier.
fancy.
Exactly. Yeah, she's the least fancy. Rough and tumble.
Yeah, I'd like to believe that she could be classy if she had to be, and you might find that out at the end of the game. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Not to spoil it, unless I might show the ending if I get it. You have to earn the ending.
Oh man, all this earning.
Yeah.
And I have to say, I watched this level when they were playing this on the Shiro show. Was it last week? And oh my god,
they were struggling.
It reminds me of, you know what? It reminds me of old school like Doom a little bit, like kind of how disorienting it can be. Oh my gosh.
This is kind of like one of those, like Doom or one of its many clones.
Yeah, that's what it reminded me of, and I'm like, oh my god.
I always just think of it as they were trying really hard to really utilize the fact that you have this transformer, you know, and so they were like, no, this should be a level where like you're mostly going to be on foot. So they did like the previous level you're in space, so you basically have to fly, and then this level you don't have to proceed on foot, but it's just like, you know, they were trying to make stages that were more conducive to one or the other, but then you can also like go against the grain and be like, no, I'm gonna fly through these corridors.
I'm gonna fly. I'm gonna do it.
You don't control me.
Being a real rebel. Look at you in your plane.
So actually, we will publish these somewhere at some point, but there are lots of little tips, little secrets of this game that were never published in English, even on GameFAQs. There's one existing walkthrough in English for this game, as far as I've seen, and like the most arcane aspect of the game, which is like there's secret ways to level up each navigator faster, which is like the most arcane aspect of the game. That's like really hard to discover and really good to know. And the walkthrough says, "Oh, I'll let you guys figure these out because it's more fun that way." I'm like, that's really not like. Why did you write a walkthrough? Can you imagine like an encyclopedia doing that?
Yeah, that sounds.
We'll let you figure that out.
It's my favorite friggin' thing that teachers used to say back in the day. You don't know how to spell that word? Look it up. Okay, genius. You know how you look something up? You look at the letters that are in the word. There's no way I can look this up if I don't know how to friggin' spell it. Are you serious? Oh, it's my favorite. It's my favorite. An encyclopedia that says, "Nah, nah, boo boo, just kidding. Screw you. Go find out for yourself. You know, go to Africa and see if you can find this desert and see what it's called."
Why don't you study anthropology? It's like, but you're the encyclopedia.
You're like, but you're a book. You're supposed to be the sponge of knowledge. And they're like, I'm not that cheap anymore. I've found out about myself. I've learned some things, and I'm gonna make you work for it. And you're like, I hate books now. And yeah, no, it doesn't. I see this ending badly, no matter how you slice it.
Yeah, so there are Japanese resources though that have some of that info, and I intend to publish it somewhere in English. What I was gonna say is that some of the navigators level up faster if you stick to one form for more of the. So like if you use the jet form more than the walker form in any single level, you get like a big bonus for medical. The princess character, she likes the jet. There's another character who likes the walker. Rupia likes when you take stuff because she's a thief. So you got to pick up lots of these.
She's a bandit. Yeah.
These point items. You need to get 50 or more in a single level. I think there's some other criterion for her, but I forget what it is. But I have it all written down.
It's like whatever shoots the biggest fireball.
That's actually there is one who likes when you blow up lots of stuff at once. Like in a combo.
I just remember, you know, Greg, I have to bring up again when we were recording. Your direction, first of all, was fantastic. You were like, could you say this line, like maybe it's like an aphrodisiac for her when she sees an explosion. I'm like, oh, all right. Yeah, no, it was a lot of fun, and the level, I don't know, I feel like the level of attention to detail, and I was just like, okay, and then, oh, gosh, one of the other directions you gave was just as fantastic. You're like, can you say it like you're annoyed, but not so annoyed that you're not trying to help this person through it because they're kind of your ticket. Like you want them to pick you, and I'm like, man, like it just feels like you're describing your friend's personality, and I feel like the knowledge you have of this game served your direction capacity so well, and you know, again, I don't know if you've done any directing before. I don't know that you shared with me that you had. I just felt like some people are very good at giving sharp directions, and it was so helpful to have like the backstory or like the scenario or, you know, your idea of how it would be set. I just thought it was great, and it made it very easy for me to do what I needed to do, which was just try to emulate that and convey it.
Well, that's extremely kind of you. You know, this, I mean...
It's honest. You don't have to say anything. You're my friend. You know, we're already friends. I don't have to make you like me.
I'd tell you if you sucked as a director.
Greg, I hate to say it. You know I would say it. You know I would say it.
Have you considered commissioning a voice director for this?
Greg, I think you're awesome. So who's going to be giving the directions?
Because I haven't received any yet. I keep waiting. No, but I do appreciate that, because I hadn't done any direction before this project. I mean, I had worked with Misty, who played Medical, but that was...
Oh, I got to hear her as well. Yeah, she sounds wonderful.
And you know, that was a very easy first assignment for me, because she just, you know, she had the instinct and she responded really well to, you know, even when I was a little vague with my feedback. She's like, oh, got it. So, yeah, you know.
Yeah, she's got a lovely voice. I feel like, you know, she's got one of those voices you could just listen to. It's very easy on your ears.
Well, that's good, because, you know, there are a couple of characters that, I don't know if Medical is one of them, but Leone certainly is, who can get pretty piercing at times, and I was like, should we, like, tone that down a tad? But I never had to consciously ask one of our actors to be like, can you be less piercing? I think it's just like, yeah, it just comes from our casting team.
Hey guys, could you not? Could you not?
No need to emulate that one for one.
You're like, go ahead and take some liberties with interpretation, like less annoying. That's perfect. That's perfect. Just like that, right there. Oh my God.
Danthrax in the chat, thank you for that compliment. You know, I'm not...
Agreed, yes.
I'm not, I've never done voice directing. I think a lifetime of watching animation and being... So I've never done voice directing. I have been a translator by trade, mostly as a side thing, but since like 2006, sort of as like a side hustle, and then lately it's, I don't know, it like comes and goes as in prominence in my life. I've been freelancing for the last 5 years, so it's been a little more prominent, but you know, mostly books and like comics and stuff, and then random like, you know, odds and ends. But I think I don't know, like all these things combined, I think just being obsessed with media in general, I've sort of, I guess I have a sensitivity for like the way folks talk.
Yeah, not only that, Greg, I want to share, I mean, I don't know if anyone on this knows that you have a fantastic singing voice and a talent there as well. And I think that, and I'm sorry if I'm oversharing here, I'll try not to share too much, but I will tell you, for those listening, this is just a multi-talented guy, and
oh my goodness.
No, I'm sorry, Greg. Go ahead and blush. Whatever. It's fine. Get over it. You're great. We all know it. And I just feel like it's important to bring up the fact that when it comes to music in particular and being a vocalist, I feel like you must learn nuance and you know, direction in voice and in singing. And I think that perhaps your sensitivity to that and your ability to do your own vocalization in your own sort of format, I think that probably was helpful, maybe unknowingly so, but I do think that you've got a really good ear, you know, and I think you've got a good voice too, and it's you know, it all works together. You're an audio person, like I'm an audio person, auditory learner, auditory, you know, I don't know. I just think I think that really plays to your strengths, and I think that's you being
funny.
a vocalist plays to your strengths too.
Well, thank you for
Yeah.
all very kind. I was gonna say it's
for sharing, Diana. What a surprise!
I do think it's sorry, hold on. I keep getting these prompts to update my PC, and that would be bad.
Update your PC. No.
More to the left.
It's funny that you say I'm an auditory person because in one sense that's true, in that I'm very sensitive to like the nuance of how, you know, like little things like how people say a word. But for actually absorbing information, I'm terrible. Because I latch on to those little things. Yeah, I'll get so distracted. Like, oh man, that guy says Monday. I haven't heard someone say Monday since my piano teacher when I was 6. She pronounced all the days of the week D. You know, and that'll be all I'm thinking about for like a full minute. And I'll be like, oh no, they just talked for a full minute. I don't even know what day we're meeting.
Like, it's Monday. Wait, D. What D?
What D did you say? And they'll be like, what?
What D of the week? What D of the week?
So,
oh my gosh.
Yeah, but yeah, I think there's probably a fairly high overlap between music people and language people, I suspect. Oh, let's go swing by Cologne and say hi. She hasn't been implemented either, but...
I was going to say, this is snowy and pretty.
Yeah, this is like their Hoth. They've even got the big walkers.
Are you serious? Oh my god.
Yeah, the targets in this stage are these giant...
everywhere.
These giant quadrupedal... Wait, are they? Yeah, quadrupedal mech things.
Love it.
I think that they did a great job in this game of like creating like terrain that feels what's the word? Like there are landmarks. It's such simple geometry, right? It's basically, most of this is just flat. But then like you've got the giant tree. And earlier we saw a mountain that was taller than anything else in the stage, and it had a max health item on top. It's just like little landmarks like that to like make the stage feel more like a meaningful place.
Give you your bearings and
yeah, and just make it feel more like you're going somewhere, and it's not just a flat platform. I think given how bad this tech was at doing 3D compared to its rivals. I think that they got really creative, and like I think that the aesthetic, I mean, it's not, there's no ray tracing or PS5, any other PS5 buzzwords, but it's good. I think that there's a meaningful like aesthetic at work, and I also, the other cool thing is that look how much crap is happening on screen at any given time. There's just like things flying like diagonally past you, and then giant things on the ground walking around, and then like small like little snowmobiles zipping past. So there's such a dynamic frame of like different things happening on different planes, and I
did so much with so little. Yeah,
exactly. And I feel like even compared to a lot of PS1 games, like I can't think of a lot of PS1 games that had that much like on-screen action happening at a single time.
Close by. Keep going straight.
Especially considering this game isn't even on rails. Like, you see that kind of thing a lot more in a rail shooter, but this is like,
Oh, wow.
it's free, what do you call it?
Keep going
Like
straight.
free roaming,
More to
and
the
yet
left.
it feels like you're on this roller coaster ride. Whoa! Near miss from that snowmobile. Just to gush about the visuals
It's
a little.
behind us.
It's behind. Yeah, I love that. That was one of those
Behind us.
discoveries, like in the booth, right? Like, I didn't
Yeah.
write the line with any specific,
Behind us. It's behind us.
like any specific
More to the right.
Direction
delivery in
or
mind. You
whatever,
know, it could have
yeah.
just been a
Yeah.
neutral, like it's behind us. But I think we just tried a few different readings. It's like, oh yeah, like I like the idea that that one is sort of rude. I mean, one, because that's her deal, but two, because like if something's behind you,
Close by.
that's different than it being to your left, right, or front. It feels more like
Energy shots.
you passed it, idiot. You know.
Yeah,
So
like, hey, num num, over there. Where are you even
Yeah.
going right now?
More to the right. Keep going straight. Bingo, you nailed it.
That's awesome. I like that they have a walker over here. It's great that you called it. It's Hoth.
yeah.
Oh man. How many? So okay. Again, my my lack of experience at work here. How many levels until you beat the game? I guess, like, how many are in a full playthrough?
There's 7 levels. This is number 6, and I've just been going in order.
Okay.
Because you have some choice over the order, but I've just been going.
See, and I was wondering if you actually were able to skip any, or like any particular item allows you to access other levels earlier than you normally would if you haven't beaten the others.
No, there's nothing like that, but the way they do it, it's kind of unique. So you get the first 3 levels as a batch, and you can pick any one of them. Like, you can
Okay.
pick the order of the first 3, and after you've cleared the first 3, you get the second 3 as a batch. And then the 7th is like the final challenge, so that's its own thing. So it's 2 batches of 3, and then the final level. But I've just been going in order because I don't find that system is particularly meaningful. I think it can be if you're like really into score attacking, but I don't really know about that. And yeah, Danthrax pointing out that the stage selection thing is very much like Thunder Force, which is a series that several of the developers of this game used to work on. It's a much more popular, famous series. But yeah, it's an old school side-scrolling shoot 'em up. So,
Okay.
some of those concepts are in this, but like translated into a 3D game. Oh my gosh.
Oh, you're going to Blau.
Dan, did you know that there were multiple levels to this map? I never noticed that. Goodness. That's a new discovery. You knew that. Okay. I mean, it does say scroll with with an icon pointing up and down. I just never even internalized that. That's funny.
Magic.
There are a few things like that I just like don't like we noticed on my last
All right. Let's raise hell.
on my last playthrough stream that there was a bunch of Japanese text on a screen that we had never seen before. But it was like, oh, I've definitely seen that before because it's the screen where you select your save data. But I think it just like didn't occur to me that it was Japanese. I was like, oh, we should probably translate that. Or like Dan pointed that out, and I was like, oh
You
yeah.
know, is that hard when you're just, you're fluent in multiple languages, and are you ever worried about something like that happening where you're just like, it doesn't register because you're so comfortable with both that you're like, oh dang it, that's a different one than the last one I was just reading in.
I think it depends a lot on context. When I still lived there and was speaking Japanese all the time and like, speaking very little English day to day, occasionally I'd be in a situation where I'd have to interpret, like if family was visiting or if I was visiting them and I had my girlfriend at the time with me because she didn't speak much English, I would like forget who spoke what, or like what, it was like when you're just going rapid fire back and forth like that, sometimes you have a brain fart and you'll say something in the wrong language to the wrong person and they'll just blink at you. They're like, oh, yeah. Sorry. That was really weird for you, I bet.
So I want to share a little bit about, just a tiny little sidebar here. So, I work in the medical field, and I'm a provider. I see patients, and
you got that medical flair.
I have that medical flair. So I love my job. I love that's one of my many loves, but something I'm certainly very passionate about. But another thing I really appreciate is the place I'm working now actually gets interpreters for the patients who are more comfortable speaking in their first language. So I have been the pleasant recipient of some informal training in Mandarin, Cantonese, some Spanish,
cool.
some Ethiopian languages, some unusual dialects of Burmese. It's really cool. And so I love when I have a patient who requests an interpreter, I consider it a great favor to me.
Yeah.
And I feel like what a gift. First of all, that they can be comfortable with someone who speaks their language fluently. But also I get to hear just these beautiful languages. I love it. But I wanted to share, you said sometimes you get turned around and you're like, wait, who speaks what? That has happened to me. Now I speak some Spanish as well, right, as you know, and if the interpreter doesn't show up, I'm speaking Spanish, right? Well, if the interpreter's there, they're speaking Spanish to the patient, they look at me and they say something to me in Spanish because they know I speak it, and then I get confused and start charting in Spanish. and then it does cause some interesting problems, but I'm just saying, same. I feel the same way. It does kind of get you turned around, but I had an instructor in high school, a Spanish language instructor in high school, who said that she knew she was fluent when she had a dream in that language. And yeah, super cool. I feel like what must that be like to be able to speak multiple languages and have dreams in multiple languages? I don't know. Language is neat.
Yeah, I guess it just kind of becomes part of your world, It stops feeling like a language and it starts feeling like an experience, like a possible experience you can have.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just like, oh yeah, this is just part of who I am. This is just incidental.
And some people are much better at switching back and forth than others. I think especially people that grew up with both. That to me feels like a superpower. I'm in awe of people that grew up with multiple languages. I'm particularly bad at switching gears, so I've given up on interpreting. But we should hear this part out. This is a cutscene.
All right.
So we've got Luzine and Two Across, also known as Jonathan Boncher, voicing these characters. I should actually step into the room.
Chris, don't get in my way, please.
Reason. Do you realize what you're about to do?
Yes, of course I do. Chris, you know what we've been through. The persecution that's been wrought upon the people of Blau, including me. If we're ever to change this world, we need a leader with strong ideals and a chosen people to rule at his side.
You're wrong, Reason. Creating a better society takes mutual respect and an ongoing drive toward a higher moral standard.
If that had worked, we wouldn't be here right now. This is a holy war. It's going to change everything.
A holy war? This? Taking millions of people hostage and using fear to get what you want? What you're doing is terrorism, plain and simple.
Stop it! Why won't you understand? Why would you stand against me? Aren't you the Chris I grew up with?
Sure am. And
Yeah,
you're
she's good.
Rizen Lavia. Don't forget that. The same Rizen Lavia who loved sitting in the shade of that old oak tree and reading me poetry. The kind of person who would never do this.
Yes. I am Rizen Lavia. Acting commander of the Gardner Army's 1st Special Air Squadron. Lieutenant Rizen Lavia. Sworn enemy to your kind.
Reason.
Okay, it's funny because, that really comes out of nowhere. I'm just like, All right, we've got 2 minutes of game left. We got to cram in some drama.
What about the poetry in the oak tree? Wait, what the hell? What?
And yeah, I think they just kind of had to work with what resources they had. I think that they probably didn't have much budget to cram that much story into the game back then. So like 90% of the story is delivered through the instruction manual that came with the game.
Wow.
Oh, man.
Question though, was the instruction manual in color?
Oh man. Yeah, it is, right? I don't have one. This is like one of the only Saturn games I have that doesn't have a manual. Danthrax, you're right. I don't think the Napalm Blaster did me any favors in this fight. It does in some of the other fights. Normally we use the Fire Blaster, but
That's terrifying.
Yeah. So by the way, I never got to pat myself on the back for this, but a couple bosses ago in that long corridor, that is easily the quickest I've ever taken that thing out. I got it in a single shot.
Well done, sir.
That was Major League Gaming at work.
Well, all right.
No need to internalize that term. I think it's just a meme. So yeah, I still don't have a great strat against this thing, and often
Live
die.
stream luck. Very nice, Danthrax.
Yeah, that was a great way to take on that boss during a stream. Whoa! Honestly, I don't have a foolproof tactic against this thing. Whoa!
Yeah, right? Oh my god. What is this piece of hell you're fighting right now?
I don't know why she turns into this. Like, who
I
organized
don't know
this?
if she had to turn into someone who needed to wage a holy war against her childhood poetry buddy. I don't know. I feel like she
Yeah.
turned into a lot of things.
I feel like, yeah, she's beyond hope when she whips out the Mecha Dragon with the 3 heads. 2 heads? Oh, here's another cutscene.
Too.
Chris.
It's over. Stand aside now,
Press.
Reason.
I just wanted to do something to ease all the suffering, all the frustration of the people of Blau.
At this very moment, 3 billion lives hang in the balance. Whatever you're after, you won't achieve it by going down in history as an agent of genocide.
Don't you think I realized that? I couldn't.
Reason!
I think, so this was, I think, the most challenging part so far to dub, because for a lot of reasons. One, all of a sudden things are serious and you have to do drama, which is hard. It's harder than a lot of the lines are pretty silly or kind of neutral.
Right.
But it's all one file, so the way that we had like syncing up all the lines so that they were in the right spot was challenging.
That's impressive. God, that's one audio file?
Yeah, well, so there's 2 cutscenes we just saw, right? There's the one before the fight and the one after, so there's 2 files. But yeah, the whole conversation is a single file. So placing all the lines in the right spot, and then just trying to select the right clip. That reason at the end, I'm still not sure how I feel about that one. But
Give me a reason.
it's hard, It's hard to do a gut-wrenching scream of someone's name convincingly. But it's like we played with a bunch of different takes, and I'm still actually mulling over that decision.
Yeah.
Hey, what's
I
up,
gotta
Two
say
Across?
though, those actors were fantastic. I feel like she conveys, in particular, she conveys an awful lot with her voice, and you definitely get his attitude. It doesn't help that his name is Cress.
Well, we changed it
God.
to we changed it to
Thank goodness
Chris
it's Chris.
because it was so distracting. It was Chris Dooley. Two Across just popped into the chat. He's the voice of Chris Dooley. Yeah, we're gonna need 20 more Reason
Hey,
screams.
Cress.
Please review the Reason Chocolate Chew commercials from the 90s, and then let's regroup.
You know
All
what's
right.
sad? When I heard Reason, I was like, I remember that candy, and my grandparents always had them, and they were delicious.
I've never had one.
Reason.
So this poem, this poem was also a big challenge because translating poetry is a challenge. It didn't rhyme in Japanese.
What is this? Some kind of goodbye note? Jeez, this chick had some
Oh, wow.
crazy ideas.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't quite get what's going on with that line. She doesn't like even in the Japanese. She doesn't sound sad, but all the navigators look like they're about to cry in that moment.
She's just like, yeah, this is sad. What's that shiny thing? Can I take it before anyone notices?
I think she's being tsundere. She's masking her sadness with meanness.
Oh, facade.
Exactly.
Nice.
Yeah,
Oh my
it took
god,
us a month of
wow.
the Anthrax pointing out. It took a month of back and forth before we settled on the translation of the poem. Went through many iterations, and also he custom made that font.
That's awesome.
今度マルグリットをいじめたら許さないぞ。
父ちゃんに言いつけてやる。
もう遊んでやんねえからな。
So we're still recording some of the bit parts for these ending FMVs. We just recorded Bully number 2 the other day. That was fun.
Nice.
Still need Bully number 1. If you guys know any bullies, send them our way. We need one. Need precisely one. Yeah, you're so handsome. 2 across.
If my 2.5-year-old spoke English, she'd be perfect.
Oh man.
じゃあ私は毎日クラスに詩を読んであげるわ。
You are so handsome. Well done. Animated you. 2 across. Haha.
So I guess let's see. So you have to earn the ending FMVs for each navigator. My wife is asking about this. So you get the director in the title of the game, and everything else is corrupted. And accidentally, the word "sex" shows up. That's completely a fluke. That's like the Lion King, "Sex in the Sky." Yeah.
Oh my god.
I don't know. Like Dan, did you know about that? That it says "sex"? But the credits have just Dan just finished. He's been working on the credits for weeks and weeks. It's like the biggest and most tedious text editing job. And he just finally, because what he has to do is custom make tiles with every pair of English letters. Correct me if I've got this wrong, Dan. Because one Japanese character is a tile, but if we did it that way, if we did it so that one English character was a tile, it would take up too much space. So we're doing 2 English characters per tile, which means we have to create our own. We have to create our own graphic tiles that are pairs of letters. So
Oh wow.
he's been doing them in like 10-line sets. There are 196 lines. Oh, this is the Rupia ending. I'll let this play, even though it's in Japanese.
そろそろ閉館時間ね。だいぶ人も減ってきたわ。さあ、始めますか。
Oh, is this one not been patched yet?
No, because we don't have the music in hand yet.
Ah.
We need.
Looks like it's about closing time. There.
バレなきゃいいのよ。バレなきゃ。
It's good facial expressions.
はーい、クレス。
So about the ending FMVs. So the way you've got a video file, right? And oh man, I almost made it all the way to bonus 3. I don't think I ever do that.
Well done, sir.
So the audio is all one track.
You've got a name, don't
All right,
you?
should I go normal name or dirty name?
Dirty.
My wife says dirty.
Oh, come on, go dirty.
I gotta
It's
listen.
Rupia.
All right.
Don't jerk me around.
Don't jerk me around.
around.
So the audio is all one track in the ending, which means the music and sound effects and voiceover are all inseparable.
Oh wow.
So originally we thought we just won't be able to dub the ending FMVs. That's just going to be a big glaring flaw in this project. But Jiggle85, who I mentioned earlier, one more shout out for Jiggle, because he streams a lot of Saturn games. We're going to do a shout out in the chat. He showed up and volunteered along with his brother, who's a professional musician, to basically cover all of the ending FMV songs.
Oh wow!
So that we could then recreate all of the FMV audio from scratch. And they've sent us one track so far. It is spot on. If anything, it sounds slightly better.
Oh wow! Well done.
So that basically, I mean, that's gonna solve a huge issue that we had that seemed insurmountable. So, because I have a music background, but I don't know that much about like recording and mixing, and like I don't like identifying the precise synthesizer voices that they used in 1997 to make the soundtrack for this game. They have all that down. Two across, you want to do all the sound effects with your voice? We'll put that in the maybe pile if we can't find actual samples of like birds chirping and stuff. Just get you on the mic. Choip, choip. So
I'll be the music. Do 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 do.
The fully a cappella version of the FMVs.
Oh man.
So I want to see if Rupia has leveled up, because it would be great if I can show off her level 3 lines. I think if I haven't yet, she's probably close. Do you still have time? Not for a complete full playthrough, but like another couple levels.
Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
Shoot, you talking to me? Others.
I'll be good.
Roll it.
All right. Let's see if we can get to level 3.
Pick a dang stage.
Pick a dang stage. Yeah, I was thinking about. So we're both from Virginia, or at least have lived in Virginia, but it's Northern Virginia, which is like this weird pocket where like
it's not Virginia, it's Northern Virginia.
Yeah, but it's like you get some of that rest of Virginia influence. Love that rest of Virginia flavor. but you also get like Northern Virginia is mostly people from elsewhere, whether it's from out of the country or like the Upper East Coast. So our families aren't from the South, but I think we've sort of absorbed some southern.
Actually, Massachusetts, right?
Yeah, we're all from Mass for some reason.
Yeah. Good people.
Yeah. Except for the pisses.
Yeah.
But we I think we sort of absorbed some of the southern stuff just through osmosis. And like every once in a while, I feel like I feel like maybe I could slip into like a semi-southern accent. And it's funny. So some of you Saturn fans that are watching may know Sega Lord X. He's like a pretty prominent YouTuber who covers Sega stuff.
At least sounds prominent.
And one day I was listening to him, and I was like, he does this thing where he inserts L sounds into his words, like drawl. He'll be like, oh, drawling. And I was like, that sounds so familiar. And I just got curious about what part of the I was like, clearly he has a southern accent, but what part of the South is he from, I wonder. And I Googled him. I think I Googled Sega Lord X Virginia, and there was like an article talking about how he's from Virginia, and I was like, I knew it!
It's funny. So my hubs does the same thing.
He doesn't have a southern accent, and he's also like his family isn't from the South, but he does say drawling, and I never put that together before, but that's what that is, I think. I think we each probably picked up like a word or two here and there.
Mostly y'all.
Danthrax saying he has a Delaware Valley accent. It's a Philadelphia accent, oh, really? So it's not a Virginia thing? Maybe I was led astray. But that's like, definitely.
It's not too.
Delaware Valley. I've never even heard of such a place. My girlfriend has that accent. It's pretty similar to. Oh man. So now I don't know what to think. Is he not from Virginia?
I don't know.
Develop his speech there.
Shield recovered.
You know what?
They got missiles.
Folks who can determine where folks are from, or like, hey, you probably had parents from this place, but you grew up in this place. I feel like there are people who actually can do that, and it baffles me that they are able to be that specific. But I've, gosh, was it my my English teacher in, was it 10th grade, Dr. Giroux? She, I think her uncle was one of those such people, and I would hear stories from her about how he could be like, oh yeah, your mother was from Iowa, probably, if you spent most of your time growing up with her, but I can hear that you maybe went to college or lived for a little while in New York, upstate New York, and blah, blah. I'm like, oh my gosh, how do you even, I have not been around enough, I guess enough of the other states to actually be able to pick that stuff up. But yeah, Delaware Valley, man, that is not an area with which I'm familiar.
I've never even heard that term. So
yeah,
I just noticed we are already level 3, so she's giving the clock directions now.
You're sort of a stud, aren't
I thought we'd also listen to some of these idle lines. When you just sit still, she says funny things. Like, you're sort of a stud.
How much you reckon you could fetch for this? Watch the blast.
There's like 4 total.
I like that she's like chatting you up, but also like, hey, can I steal this thing? How much money could I get for it? She's like, I'm gonna be sexy and mercenary at the same time.
That's her.
Bingo, you nailed it. Shield recovered. Something's coming, and it ain't no
So you
small
get the
fry.
o'clocks in stage 3, level 3.
Yeah, when she levels up to level 3. Yeah, the idea is that they get better at navigating as they level up, and then so like not only do you get more precise directions, but they also
Go back. 6 o'clock.
they'll give you more information. Like when you get hit by an attack,
Get ahead.
they'll
12
tell you what type of attack hit you, which is not useful information, but it's just kind of like, hey, look what we can do with this tech.
This is how bad the attack was. Deal with it.
One of my favorite lines that you delivered, and I'm not even sure why, I just really like the sound of it, is when she says, we crashed into him. I'm going to do it right now to show you. Oh, wait, no, that wasn't it.
Energy shots.
It's like,
3 o'clock.
Alright.
okay.
We crashed into him. 1 o'clock.
I just like the sound of it. We crashed into him.
It's like, I like that she feels like she has to say it.
Yeah.
As if it would not be obvious enough. But yeah.
Well, I always laugh at that batch of lines.
3 o'clock.
Like you get hit with a laser and they go, it's a laser. It's like, that's, thanks. Tell me before we get hit next time.
8 o'clock.
That was bad. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like it's on the level of, uh-oh.
I always bring up that, did you ever see Robin Hood Men in Tights?
8 o'clock.
Oh, of course.
You know where he's
Yeah,
like,
I was gonna say that's classic.
Get ahead. 12
where he says to Achu, he says, watch my back, and he just stands there watching his back get punched. Your back just got punched twice. I really want to mod that into the game. But
moves.
Oh, man. Your back just got punched. We crashed into him. Jeez. Yeah, I was almost a little disappointed that you didn't let me go. Well, golly! Because that is what I used to say.
there were there were definitely some gollies in some of the different takes we did for certain lines. Occasionally you have to like,
Oh, I got you. 1 o'clock.
Are you gonna draw the line somewhere?
well, like sometimes you'll really like a line, but it just doesn't fit the space or something, and you have to let it go, and that's one of the downsides. That's like any creative project, though, right? I hate the expression "killing your babies," but that is what it is in a way.
Bingo. You nailed it. That leaves 4 of them.
You're like, I hate that it's this thing, but it's
Yeah.
this thing.
Yeah.
2 o'clock. 11 o'clock. Get ahead. 12 o'clock.
Maybe this will be. I guess this will be the last stage because we've basically seen it all now.
Close by.
Here's what I'll do.
Man.
4 o'clock.
I'll get to the boss,
Target close by.
and then I'll let the boss kill me so we can hear the countdown
Energy
dialogue,
shots.
like the continue countdown.
Laser.
You get a 10 count, and every 2 counts or so, she says something.
Awesome.
Laser. Bingo. You nailed it. That leaves 3 of them. Shield recovered. Dead ahead. 12 o'clock. Target
Well,
close
this
by.
is certainly one of my most successful runs as a player. I mean, I destroyed that one boss. I'm so proud of that. And like, I've never gotten the ending score shot all the way, almost all the way up to level 3.
That leaves 2 of them.
Never gotten that before either. I've never
You should
achieved
celebrate
level
with a
3 on a
drink,
single
sir.
run. What's that?
I think you should celebrate with a drink, sir.
Yeah, well, I am having a beer at the moment.
All right. What are you drinking?
It's the Juice Bomb IPA from Sloop
Energy
Brewing.
shot.
This is a delicious citrusy, like hazy IPA, which is sort of a thing right now.
Oh.
I like it. It's not the hop bomb that you often get with these IPAs, where it's just like, hey, do you like the most bitter flavor of all time? No. Well, we made it even more bitter.
See, and this is where I would have a very unpopular opinion. I actually like bitter things.
Well, that's, I mean, there seems to be a market for that. Everybody likes these IPAs, but I just think it's, like, nice to have a slightly different thing. I like IPAs, too, because I think after 8 years in California, you kind of can't get away without
Energy
at
shot.
least kind of liking them for nostalgia's sake.
All right. No, I like that it's called. You said it's called Juice Bomb.
Yeah, 'cause, I mean, it tastes, it
Appetizing.
almost tastes like orange juice
That leaves
Oh my
1 of them.
gosh.
in bomb
Shield
form.
recovered. 3 o'clock.
Jeez. We were talking the other day about how, gosh, some of the particular coffee flavors and the notes we
1
enjoy.
o'clock.
I told you there's this one called, gosh, it was this Guji blend that I got from the local roaster that just tasted like you were biting into like a strawberry. It was so good.
Wow.
And of course it wasn't like legit like, oh, this is a strawberry, but like it just tasted so fruity and so juicy. That's exactly what I called it. This is juicy coffee.
Bingo. You nailed
And I
it.
love that. I love that.
Something's coming,
sounds
and it ain't no
amazing.
small fry.
Oh my god, it's so good. I wish they kept making it.
So everybody drink juice, even if it's coffee or beer.
You know what? I like that that's where we landed with this.
If you take one thing away from the stream,
It's that juicy is good.
drink things that aren't juiced but that taste juicy.
We crashed into him.
All right, I'm gonna let this horrible
Both
Mothra
flushed.
thing. What? It's like a dragonfly, I guess.
Crashed into him.
No, let this thing kill me.
We crashed into him. 3 o'clock.
Oh, so there's also unique dialogue when you get hit
1 o'clock.
after your health is
Dead
down to a
ahead,
certain
12
point.
o'clock.
So we'll hear that too.
11 o'clock.
Okay. Crash into him.
We crashed into him. 11 o'clock. 11 o'clock.
Ah. Collide with me.
We crashed into him. 4 o'clock. 3 o'clock. We crashed into him. Keep it together. Dead- We crashed into him. Keep it together. 3 o'clock. 2 o'clock. We crashed into him. Hey, you alright? Dead ahead.
I like when she says, "Hey, you all right?"
What the hell are you doing? Hey! Enough with the jokes! Really? Holy crap! We're just getting warmed up. You got a name, don't you?
Love it.
I love that. Holy crap! Like your voice cracks a little there. Gets me every time. All right.
Thank you. I enjoy it.
All right. This is a good line too.
That's your name? What a crime.
It is. It is a crime to have the name Lek.
That took a lot of working out the exact wording. I mistranslated it first. That was one of the lines we had to re-record. Oh, Fumo
Yeah,
Fumo in the
remember you
chat.
told me that.
Hope you're having a good stream. I can't stay because I have to mod. If a friend wanted to drop by and say, oh, thank you so much. We're showing off a project we've been working on. We're translating this game into English. Check it out another time if you're curious. But otherwise, thanks for popping in. That's so kind. But we were. So originally, I thought the line was, "Waste of a good name," if you ask me, because I thought she was like really jabbing him. It's because there's so the Japanese word "mottainai" is an adjective that means like to be a waste. Mottainai. You hear it a lot when people are like, they throw away food or like, we double bag your groceries. Mottainai. It's like sort of an evergreen buzzword, if there is such a thing in Japan, because people are very eco-conscious there. But this just says she called his name that, and I was thinking that meant like the name was a waste on him because he sucks. But it's actually the reverse. He's like she says in one of the idol lines. He's got exactly. You're kind of a stud, aren't you? You deserve a better name than Cress Dooley.
Ugh, everyone deserves a better name than Cress Dooley. Oh my god.
She's making fun of his crappy name, not of his crappy self. So name is growing on me, Tuacross says. So that's Rupia Rude. She's the second navigator we've implemented out of 7 to come. We have an additional navigator who we are in the testing phases, but I've just implemented all her lines today.
Nice.
So hopefully we'll have her out pretty soon. I'm going to be out of commission for the next couple weeks. This is my last stream that I'm planning until probably like July. Well, I don't know. After July 4th anyway. Because I'm moving and I'm going on vacation. Except it's the kind of vacation where I have to work the whole time.
I was going to say mazel tov, but instead I will just wish you health and safety.
Thank you. I guess that's gonna do it. Diana, thank you so much for hanging out.
Thank you for having me. This was wonderful.
Do you have anything you want to plug or give a shout out to while you're here?
Oh man,
even just like
shout
a
out to gamers everywhere, people who are doing passion projects. No, I mean I don't know. I guess I will say I continue to be okay. So what I do for a living, I take care of folks who get injured at work. I continue to be inspired by the clinicians I take care of every day, my coworkers. Very grateful for the position I'm in, and I just want to say gratitude for everyone who's helping us get through all of this. So first responders, medical personnel, all that. It's the end of hopefully nearing the end of the pandemic, and I just want to say, we start focusing on new things. I see their sacrifice, particularly the front line. Want to say, way to go.
Well said, and thank you for all you do in that realm as well. You're delivering on all fronts.
Man, it is inspiring to see folks who pursue passion projects with such zest. I'll say, it's just fantastic what you're doing, man. Thank you so much for letting me be a part of it, all of you. Thank you.
We're nothing if not zesty.
Love the zest, more zest.
Shout out to the team. We got Danthrax in the chat. Momfus over in Germany. He's probably in bed by now, I hope. And then we got Burnt Ends, Galleon, Jiggle85, and all our wonderful actors. We will have more news in the very near future. Make sure you follow us on Twitter. Danthrax, you want to throw your Twitter in the chat? Meanwhile, I'll throw mine in. I'm Lacquer Leaks. Is that gonna work? It works. Dambo, I don't quite. Yeah, you're Dambo4. There we go. All right. And I'm gonna go ahead and sign off. Two Across, you're setting up a stream, right? So everybody check out Two Across the stream. That's coming on shortly, I believe, if I understand you right. He is the voice of Chris Dooley, our heroic protagonist. Oh yeah, Dan says new progress report coming tomorrow on my Twitter, so be sure you do follow him for that. We got a lot going on the project. That's gonna do it. Thank you again, Diana, and all you guys in the chat for hanging out. I'll be back in a couple weeks, so everyone have a good rest of June.
Y'all have a good night. Bye.